Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tabor Talk. Isn't it funny how all that voter fraud and unsafe elections disappeared after I think it was 3 in the afternoon or something when Trump realized he was winning? Yep. So try to wrap your mind around this. So for 4 years, the Republicans have been going on and on that the 2020 election was rigged, rigged, and yet they were in power, right? Trump was the president. And then 2024, when Democrats are in power, when they have the ability to, do all these things, now it's a fair election. Figure. Logic goes out the window with these people. All right. So, anyway, it's been a rough week, right? It's been 5 days post-mortem trying to figure out what happened. Okay. I've been getting some emails from friends, even people on this channel, like, were we wrong? What happened here? And I just said, no. You were wrong. You were not wrong. We were not wrong. All right. We had the truth on our side. We are on the right side of history. Most of America, or 51%, or whatever it is that voted, fell for the lies and propaganda. I've talked about this in my last couple of videos. Last 3 weeks, I'm a sports guy. I like football, basketball, and baseball. And during the World Series, when my Yankees were between every inning, it was Trump ads with Kamala Harris, and reassignment surgery for trans, and then the immigrants are coming in, and inflation. It was all bullshit, all lies. All right. So I'm gonna play a clip here. I've been showing this clip to everyone I know, from Brian Tyler Cohen. And I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'll play some clips and then I'll put it in the comments section. But we'll get into some of these questions about first, what happened to the voter fraud, and then others. Watch this, and I'll be back. 20 minutes long. I'm going to put the whole thing in the comments section. I'm just going to play a little bit here. I'm not going to bother uploading it because it'll be all there. And by the way, I apologize for the lighting. I usually do my videos outside, and I'm not a professional here. I'm all by myself. I have no lights or whatever. But okay, listen to this, and this is just the audio, and then I'll talk some more. This is from Brian Tyler Cohen. Okay, here we go.
The podcast this week is going to feature a conversation I had with Pod Save America's John Favreau. But first, now that we have had a few days of time to get some clarity here, a bit of a postmortem on what happened on Tuesday, how we got here, and where we go from here. Let me just say one thing to get off my chest before I get into the actual conversation, into the actual meat of it. The stolen election narrative on the right just so happened to disappear in one fell swoop the moment that Donald Trump won. Right. In other words, after the last 4 years of these people insisting beyond any semblance of a doubt that Donald Trump lost in 2020 because of rampant fraud, apparently elections are secure again. So what happened? Democrats knew how to cheat in 2020 when they didn't have control of government, but now that they do have control of government, they, forgot how to cheat? Forgot to deploy it? I know that the sun is going to freeze over before we hear any acknowledgement from these people that they were wrong or deceived or purposefully peddling lies, but they were. And I hope that we all take into account that this encapsulates perfectly the shamelessness with which the GOP operates. A 4-year campaign, nonstop, claiming that Democrats commit fraud in elections and that our elections can't be trusted, which vanishes the instant that system worked in their favor. Just something to keep in mind.
Let me just pause a second. Wouldn't you think that would give Republicans pause? Or even the people who are just casuals, who don't follow politics? Like, wait a minute. You were saying over and over that it was fraud, but nothing. I mean, just right there to begin with. But I continue.
Pose brings me to the crux of my argument here in discussing what went wrong. So first, we can't have this conversation without acknowledging that the global environment was horrific for incumbents. According to the Financial Times, this is the first time since 1905 that every governing party in the world lost vote share. There was a global period of inflation stemming from COVID, and even though the U.S. managed a soft landing...
Let me just pause. We're talking about anti-incumbency, and that is a fact. It's not the only factor, but a big one all across the world. around the globe. The incumbents were voted out because of inflation, a global pandemic. Even though we were number one in the world dealing with inflation, etc. But let me continue.
And 16 million new jobs, the reality is that inflation means higher prices, and higher prices means that people hurt. Doesn't matter to a lot of people out there if our inflation is less bad than other countries' inflation. That's not how people think of things, right? They're not comparing their egg prices to egg prices in Portugal. They're comparing egg prices to last month's egg prices or last year's egg prices. So again, doesn't matter that we're doing better relative to the rest of the world. All that matters is that they're hurting, and they're going to take it out on the people.
So I'm going to pay an extra dollar for eggs, even though it wasn't Biden's fault or this administration's fault, and maybe more expensive gas. By the way, everything has come down. I've already done a video that it's coming down to almost normal. It's still a little bit high. So let's see, 30 cents more for an egg. I'm going to vote for the rapist, the civilly liable rapist, the adjudicated fraudster, the worst president we've ever had in every respect, a traitor who stole documents and was dealing with Putin wannabe dictator. I could go on and on and on, but let me continue.
In charge, and the Democrats are in charge. I could even argue that it wouldn't matter what candidate we put forward, we were going to lose. But let's zoom into the U.S. specifically here. According to Blueprint 2024, the number one reason that swing voters broke for Trump, number one reason is, quote, Kamala Harris is focused more on cultural issues like transgender issues rather than helping the middle class. And of course, that isn't even close to true. In fact, Kamala Harris was virtually silent
Listen to
on
this.
trans issues in this campaign. But as far as policy is concerned, she offered $25,000 for first-time homebuyers, offered $50,000 for small businesses, advocated for raising the minimum wage, legalizing marijuana, but that's not what right-wing media showed their viewers. Right-wing media showed a quote on repeat that she made in 2019, 5 years ago, that she has since disavowed, walked away from, where she advocated for inmates in prison to get gender reassignment surgeries.
Let me pause. That's the ad I was seeing over and over when I was watching the World Series. I'm watching football games now during my football games, not so much the NBA, but like this, trans operations for prisoners, and you're paying for it. And you see like a guy who's like in a dress or something. It's just like when I was watching these, I'm like, nobody's gonna fall for this crap, is it? Like this immigrants climate, it's so obviously bullshit. No person with average intelligence is gonna go for these right-wing lies, but evidently they did. So, all right, let me continue.
That position, regardless of the fact that she stepped away from it, was repeated millions of times on right-wing media. There was a $215 million campaign where commercials were aired nonstop, including during the World Series,
I'm just talking about
that as her position. And so most people didn't know her policy positions, especially as it relates to housing or the economy or small businesses. But I can guarantee you, they sure as hell did know that she was uniquely focused on gender reassignment surgeries for trans Americans. And I know that people are going to look at this and blame the Democrats for being too woke and losing the plot. You hear Elon railing against the woke mind virus. Same with Joe Rogan and people like Barry Weiss and Bill Maher. The reality is
unfucking
don't predicate their politics on those issues. Republicans say that Democrats care solely about those issues, and the Rogans and the Weisses and the Mahrs all accept that Republican framing. These people aren't enlightened. They're just being manipulated by right-wing propaganda, the same way that Republicans' base is manipulated by right-wing propaganda. Look, I like to think that I have a decent handle on what the Democratic Party is talking about on any given day, on any given issue. You know how many videos I've done on gender reassignment surgeries for trans inmates? Zero. Literally zero. You know how many videos I've done on Kamala Harris's economic policies or housing policies or business policies? Probably hundreds. But because Fox News or right-wing media says that Harris is going woke and doing woke stuff, media figures will just take their word for it, accept their framing, and then blame the left for being too woke.
Okay, I'm going to pause it right here. I plan on doing some other videos on this whole woke stuff, like this obsession. Nobody gives a shit about this woke stuff. And what is? I'll talk about it in another video. I've already prepared stuff like it's a pejorative to be woke. And I understand, listen, I understand overreach, and there certainly is that stuff, you know, and I've talked about this before, but they're just weaponizing this stuff. It's so overblown and it's just a bunch of bullshit. All right, so I'm gonna put the complete I think it's 20 minutes. I'll put it in the comment section and I'll talk a little bit more. Okay, more to come tomorrow, actually. Peace, love, and understanding here on Tabor Talk. We're going to get through this thing. Okay, there you go. If you made it this far, thank you very much. Be sure to like and subscribe. It helps with the algorithm. And we're going to get through this thing together. Definitely. 100%. Peace, love, and understanding here on Tabor Talk.